let's just call it what it is. In 2025, pandemonium. Welcome back to the channel, friends and family. My name is Gary. I'm the Card Father, and today another cold and bitter day in Columbus, Ohio. And just so we can get this over with, you understand, I am legitimate. Here's my credibility check. These are some of my numbers, and this is what we did last year, which is 2024. Very proud of ourselves, so thank you. You supported me in that time period. Great. I am so grateful. And thank you for joining the channel. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Helps the algorithm say, hey, you like what I'm doing here. So let's jump into this. I feel like there's some advice that I want to give you when it comes to not only Pokemon collecting, but also Pokemon investing. And I'm not just saying Pokemon investing like as in a casual pickup, okay? We're talking like hardcore investing. We're talking like cases here. But in turn, 2025 is going to change everything about Pokemon collecting, and not even just Pokemon, but in TCGs and collectibles in general, okay? And I'll give you a couple of scenarios and things, reason why I think this. So the first thing that I'm having some like heart palpitations about is the way that the market has moved and shifted so quickly within the last 6 months. There has been this major change in the way the market is fluctuating, as well as the way that the market is being facilitated when it comes to collectibles and TCGs, and particularly Pokemon. It's wild because the atmosphere has changed. The number of people jumping into the hobby as an investor, right, has become extremely high. The number of people who are opening up Pokemon businesses to sell Pokemon products is crazy. I'm going to give you a cool example here about how I know this. I recently did a card show. The card show is marketed as it's a collectible show, but it's marketed as a sports and collectibles. The purveyor of the card show really wants there to be a lot of sports involved because that person highly loves sports, which is fine. Sports card shows are great. But from the first time I did this show to when I did this show last, which was only the last 5 times, I think there was only 4 or 5 of these shows that have happened in the last 7 or 8 months. We have gone from having like 2 Pokemon vendors to having 15, and the table count 50, maybe even less, 40. It's a very smaller show, which is fine because it's based out in a high school, but that's nuts. That's nuts. We've gone from having just this massive shift in the way that is, and that's because everybody and their mother is coming on board thinking that they can, go in and do some great thing by investing in Pokemon. There are card stores that are all like 100% shot down to only sports that are now turning into Pokemon stores, to TCGs. And that's because they see the lucrativeness that Pokemon brings. And they see that the market has changed considerably to where Pokemon and TCGs in general are upturning very rapidly in the market space. And they're starting to make this huge incline in value. And people are wanting them, and people want to collect it. It's a little bit different because then, we saw 2022 and 2023 to be a very bear market. People did not, like, sealed product was awful. I got started in 2023, and sealed product was terrible in 2023. Getting rid of a booster box in the Sword and Shield era was like pulling teeth, right? Oh, yeah. You want a box of Silver Tempest? Sure, it's $105 a box. You can't even buy that now. You can't buy Scarlet and Violet for $105 now. Like, you can't do that at all. Even in the Sword and Shield, no Sword and Shield box is sitting at $105, right? So, like, the market has considerably changed, and it's impassively difficult now to predict where things are going to go. Like, let me just tell you this. I'm going to give you advice. If your focus on 2025 is to buy Prismatic Evolutions and invest heavy in Prismatic Evolutions, you're an idiot. Okay, I love you. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you the truth and love here. Okay, you're not going to get Prismatic Evolutions. You may find a few pieces, you may find a few things, but you're not going to get Prismatic Evolutions in 2025. It's just not going to happen, guys. This is going to be a nice rollout. We're going to see it come through in the next 6 to 9 months. You're not going to get sealed cases for anything less than $1,600 a case. It's not going to happen. And I highly anticipate what's going to occur is, you're going to see that they're talking reprints. I do believe there'll be a second or third wave of Prismatic Evolution sometime in 2025. I highly believe that. I don't think Pokemon is going to leave money on the table. They're not stupid. But if you think that you're going to get a case of ETBs of Prismatic Evolutions at $500, okay, for 10 ETBs, you're an idiot. It's not happening. That box right now is pressing 150 as it sits. 1 ETB. When these things release, people are going to rip them like crazy, and the market value is going to only increase to 180, 200 by April. And we may see a second drop, a second wave of those come through, which I doubt we will by then. And so maybe it'll fall back to from 200 to 150, 140, right? And then it'll start to climb again. And if you think at any point getting a case for investing purposes is going to be anywhere near viable between now and say maybe June or July, you have no clue what you're doing. You've missed the boat on that. Here's some advice. Don't focus on Prismatic Evolutions. Buy the singles. Buy the singles. Find the Flareon, the Moon, or the Sunbreon that you're wanting to get. Find the Sylveon card, right? Or find the other special illustration rares that you're really wanting to put in your binder because they're beautiful cards and they're amazing. Do that. Buy the singles. Skip trying to invest Prismatic Evolution sealed product right now. You're not going to get it. It's not going to happen because there are too many factors at play here in this entire case. If I gave you any other additional advice, move on from Prismatic Evolutions. Focus maybe on Team Rocket when it comes. That set's going to be highly anticipated too, but maybe focus on Team Rocket. Get in early on Team Rocket. But personally, I'm not focused on those. I'm focusing back. I'm going back in time here. I'm looking at Scarlet and Violet 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, I'm looking at anything up to Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift, I think, is an underrated set. You're going to see a lot of gains in Paradox Rift very soon. Scarlet and Violet right now, if you go to Scarlet and Violet base set, if you're getting anything Scarlet and Violet base set, you're looking at $136 a box. If you can find that right now, market at 125 or less, you need to buy it because that's the point here. That is an underrated set. It's going to increase. I highly believe that Sword and Shield boxes, every Sword and Shield box is probably going to breach the $300 marker at some point. All right, very soon. And I think eventually they'll be over $5. And in your hot sets like Fusion Strike, Chilling Reigns, I call it Chilling Pain, Evolving Skies or Evolving Cries, those sets, they're going to be hot. They're going to be heavy. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for Evolving Skies, I think is really where we're going to be at. $6,000 for a case. I really think that you're going to be pushing really high on the booster boxes. It's going to be nuts. Okay. So I would recommend personally, if you're investing now in Pokemon, do not focus on Prismatic Evolutions. Your time for that has already passed. We're only a week and a half away from the drop on that, and you're not going to get it as an investment opportunity. You need to start looking a little further back. It's one thing. It's one thing to collect something. It's another thing to invest in it. Okay. Investment takes time and it requires a whole lot of time. Collecting is a very short-term thing. Collecting is very easily done because you can go out and you can collect almost anything. Like for God's sakes, like I'm not kidding you. These standees, I have 12 of these standees. Okay, guys, I collect them. I don't know why. I'm weird, but I've got 12 of them. All right, variants from Sword and Shield all the way through Scarlet and Violet. I got a bunch of them. The posters, like you see Pikachu here. He's just sitting there chilling out. I love that. I love that poster. It's a great poster. It's a wall poster from a GameStop. I have several different versions of those across the entire board because I collect them. And you're going to find stuff like that all the time. You're going to be able to collect those things all the time. That's a very short-term gain in your collection. Where investing comes in is where you're investing in a long-term scale. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, I think right now for 2025, for this bull market that we're in, investing in Pokemon or even TCGs in general is going to be a lot shorter gain. It's going to be a lot, how do I say it? Sorry. It's going to be a larger gain over a shorter period of time. And I'll give you this example. Surging Sparks released in November. This is January. We're 2 months to 3 months in. That box has already gained 50% of its value. MSRP is 164, 161, somewhere in there, depending on where you go. That box sits at $250 right now. Guys, the amount of time it took to get there was incredibly short. 151. Let's look at the ultra premium collections. Let's look at the booster bundles. Those things are double their prices already, and it's less than 2 years. So you have to understand that the way that the market is situated, the way the market works right now, and almost everything in collectibles, including video games and vintage toys and t-shirts and buttons and stamps, the way the market works is it works on a time factor. And right now, within the time factor for Pokemon, it's a very short amount of time for a very large amount of gain. The problem is you got to get into it. And that's where I think that a lot of people are missing up. They're looking at, Prismatic Evolutions is the set to get into. I got to get out of that. You got to stop being glued to the fact that you need to jump on the most current, hottest set and get glued onto that and pull into that now, because that's where it is. You're going to lose every single time. Your investment, your gains are going to be very low, and it's going to be very short. I think you need to start looking further back in time when it comes to Sword and Shield, and I think you need to start looking a little bit further back when it comes to Scarlet and Violet, to the early days, the early stuff, because that stuff is still a little bit easier to get. It's a little bit simplistic in its nature to find, and it's not as expensive right now. And I really think that those boxes are going to hit the market, and they're going to increase quickly. So don't be dumb. Okay. Spend within your means. Don't have FOMO. All right, don't have FOMO. Pokemon's supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be a good thing. Don't do that. Okay. But again, I wish you the best of luck. Like, comment, subscribe. Go have a fish taco on me. I don't know. We'll talk to you later. And again, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. See you on the next one.